Welcome everyone to the Knitting by the Sea podcast. I am Lisa and I'm known as Saratoga Knitting on Ravelry and Instagram, and welcome to my home. Thank you for joining me today. I live in beautiful Marblehead, Massachusetts, which is a little town just north of Boston, and we live in the part of town called Old Town. So we are in a very old house right now. We're renting a house for the year. So you can see behind me I have a lovely fireplace, and I have lots of very antique-y looking doors and things. This house was built in 1750. I always get that wrong. It was built in 1750 as a warehouse originally, and then was turned into a residence in about sometime in the 1800s, early 1800s. So it's a pretty special place here in Marblehead. But welcome to my knitting podcast. Today we are going to do a few things. I actually have a plethora of lovely things to show you today, so I'm very excited about that. But first we'll look at some finished objects. I actually have two today, very exciting. We will look at my works in progress. We will talk about the knit along that's going on in the Ravelry group, and we'll have some chatter at the end. So let's get started. Finished objects. I have two today. I'm very, very excited. The first thing I do want to mention, as you can see, I'm up in my bedroom. Sometimes I record up here in the bedroom. Sometimes I record downstairs. We live in a very old house in Old Town, Marblehead, as I said. So the floors are a little rickety, and it kind of depends on where the light is coming in. But I snuck a day off from work, so I'm actually here in the morning, which is really nice for me. The other thing is that our house is almost practically in the parking lot of the Boston Yacht Club here in Marblehead. And they're having an event this weekend, and they're putting up a big tent, so you might hear some noise from the tent going up, but that's what that is. And then the only other thing that you might hear at some point during the podcast, although the door is closed right now, but our cat has a little bell on her collar, and she actually might be under the bed. I'm not quite sure where she is right now. So, and I think a couple of times ago, someone had asked me, what was that little jingling noise that we heard? Because you couldn't see her on camera, but you could hear her, and so that's what it was. I don't even hear it anymore because I hear it all the time. So if you hear a little jingling noise, it's just the cat kind of meandering around. But anyway, so I have two finished objects. The first one is the Hepzibah shawl by Janie McCarty, and it's a gorgeous pattern. I've had this pattern for a while, ever since it came out. I really love the name, because I live in a house. It was built in 1750, and so I just, Hepzibah is a name that reminds me of Salem, which is just the next town over. Could have been an old sailor's wife's name, a sailor's wife's name at the time. So it just really all came together, and I thought this was going to be a perfect pattern, and I really liked it. So I've had it for a while, and then I decided to knit it up for the knit along that we're having now, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But it is an asymmetrical shawl. I used Knit Picks Wool of the Andes this time for it. Knit Picks is just a great, in the United States, it's just a great workhorse yarn for a really good price. And it comes in so many different colors, and it's 100% wool, and I really do love it for sometimes for bigger projects. It's just more economical to use. But this is a beautiful shawl, and if you follow me on Instagram, you did see pictures of it hanging out on my mother-in-law's laundry line, which is my preferred way to block a shawl, because if you just hang it on the line, sometimes you can even put clothespins on the bottom of the shawl, and really gravity does its thing. It's really a beautiful way to do it. No pins. It's just great. Leave it there overnight, and the next day it's beautiful. It's perfect. So here's the shawl. You can see it. So it's asymmetrical. It's blocked out very, very nicely. It has lots of different sections in it. So it has these beautiful garter ridge sections in it. It has some open work sections, the garter ridge again, and it has this beautiful little lace accents, very simple lace patterns to do. But the best thing about this is the bobbles. There are lots of little bobbles on this, and I just think they really pop when you block it out, and they just give it so much interest. And the way Janine writes the bobbles, or you do the bobbles, especially in worsted weight yarn, it's not difficult at all, and it's just you get a lot of bang for your buck when you've got those. People just have no idea how you've done that, whether they think maybe you've attached it afterwards, and you're like, nope, nope, just knit it right in there. So you can see, and there's bubbles here at the end as well. But yeah, bobbles are great. So if you have never done them before, don't be afraid of them. They're really, really easy. They're basically just yarn overs. It's just that you're doing a large number of stitches rather than just one or two. But they really come out great, really, really great. So I've seen this pattern done in lots of different colors. It certainly doesn't have to be in gray. I just liked it in gray, and I'll wear that. I'll wear it around this winter. This will be a really great piece for my office, which tends to get pretty chilly in the winter. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is a beautiful shawl. I highly, highly recommend it. So check it out, the Hepzibah shawl by Jamie McCarty. I'm very, 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 very pleased with it. And this knit up very fast too, because it was in worsted weight yarn. I don't think it took me more than 2 weeks to do. So this is a great pattern. I really like it, and can see it made up in all different colors. You could do 2 different colors. You could do 3 different colors if you wanted to. So I really highly recommend this. It's beautiful. My second finished object are my slip and swirl socks. So this pattern was gifted to me by my friend Amy, and they're by Chris Loves Wool, and they're just a really simple slip stitch pattern, which are great. And I have finished both of the socks. So I'm very, very pleased. This will be my first pair of fall socks when it gets cold enough to put some socks on again. So I really like these. You can see I use this beautiful, gorgeous yarn. This is what's left of the bulk. Quite a bit. I can use this for something else, maybe some fingerless mitts. But it is by Apteno Knits. You can see. I'm going up the wrong place. There it is. Apteno Knits. And I picked up this yarn off the swap table at the Knit Local retreat that we went on back in April. This is, as you can see, it's just a simple slip stitch pattern that follows up. Now, this is very highly variegated yarn. So if you were going to do this maybe on self-striping yarn, or if you were going to do this just in a one color, it probably would show up the pattern a little bit more, but I really like it. I like the way it breaks up the variegation. And you can see down the bottom is just the plain stockinette. So you can see it does make a difference, but I really like it. These are my my usual formula: toe up, fish lips, kiss heel, and then just the leg and the cuff. Now, the one thing I did want to show you on these was, I'm going to take them off the sock blockers to show the difference here. I'm sure in some patterns you will see, or you hear people talking about how really good a twisted rib looks, and it's actually true. And what I ended up doing is I thought I would do a twisted. Sometimes I do a twisted rib, sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends on how I feel. And what a twisted rib is, it just means that when you knit the knit stitch of your rib, you're going to knit it through the back loop. So you're knitting it in the back instead of in the front. So you're going in the back instead of the front. And basically that twists the stitch. And what that does then, it just pops up those knit stitches a little bit more. And this is what it looks like. So on this particular sock, I did do the twisted rib. So you can see it's very, very stretchy. It really isn't any difference. It's really just basically the difference in how it looks. Let's see if you can see that. So you can see that it's pulled in a little bit more. See it on that side better. So it looks really nice. The knitted ridges are just really pop out for you. Now on the second sock, when I did it, I did not do a twisted rib for no particular reason except that I forgot. I usually do my my sock knitting on the bus, so I had forgotten what I did, and so I just did it. So this is just really a basic rib. This is not twisted. I did not twist them. I'm not sure if you can see. So you can see, that one didn't. That side is really good. This will come out well, but yeah, probably won't. But this one here is just more stretched out, flatter. And this one isn't. This one is a little tighter. It's pulling in a little bit more, and that's because these are the twisted stitches. It's really a personal choice. It's really going to make no difference when I wear them, which is why I wasn't upset about that. But I just thought I would mention it because a lot of people do say a twisted rib looks beautiful. I know Dan from the Bakery Bears loves a twisted rib. He won't do anything else besides a twisted rib. And I do like to do it on occasion, but it's not. If I don't, it doesn't bother me. So anyway, so that was just the difference between the two, if you can see them. But yeah, those are my two finished objects, and I'm so happy with both of them. So now, let's move on to some works in progress. Works in progress. So, I have several that you've seen before that I'm continuing to work on. The first one is the Granito by Hohi Locatelli. I don't think I've shown this to you in a little bit, and I haven't stalled on this. It's just that I haven't not wanted to knit on it. I've just been knitting on other things, and I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, I need to bring that out, and I actually have brought it out again. So this is a sweater done in fingering weight yarn, as I said, by Hohi Locatelli. And it's very, very simple, but it has some really interesting, just kind of slip stitch details on it, which keeps you going on this particular sweater. So it's really beautiful, and it's going to kind of blow out here. I'm using a green color, a Knit Picks palette, so it's fingering weight Knit Picks once again, just a workhorse yarn for the price for a sweater, for a particular sweater like this, and I really loved the color of it. So I am finished with the body of the sweater. It has pockets on the front, which are way down here. Yeah, there they are on the bottom. So I've knit the pockets. I have not attached them to the back yet, so they're kind of flopping around. So now I'm onto the arms. This is always a problem for people. It's just kind of slogging through the arms. And so I'm almost done with with the first arm, which is really great. I ran into a snag. I did put this down for a couple of days because I did try it on to make sure that the arm was fitting, and it did, but I discovered a dropped stitch, which is sometimes what happens certainly when you're knitting fingering weight yarn in this dark color. You need to have a really good light. I really think that Sophia and I we probably need to invest in an OT light or a really good light. I used to have a light. I think my husband for a couple of years ago got me a light that was it was on a lanyard, so you could have it in your lap and shine it right down, and then it wasn't bothering everyone else. But I think the battery ran out. I have no idea where that is with our multiple moves. So I think I need something like that again, especially since the days are going to start to get shorter very quickly. But anyway, so I had dropped a stitch. It wasn't too far gone, but in this particular instance, I caught it, and I basically just kind of took some extra yarn and I tagged it back in. I didn't try to pull it up. Just because with the gauge on this, it really would make too much, I think it would be really too noticeable, and really no one besides myself will notice. I probably couldn't even tell you where I did it right now, but I did have that. So you do have to be careful with it. But this is really beautiful. I'm really looking forward to this. It'll be a nice transition sweater, just kind of over a light shirt, or on its own, just over a tank top maybe. For the early fall. So great. I love the color, and I'm just really, really happy with it. As I said, you can see it has these really interesting dropped stitch ridges down each front and then down the back as well, so it keeps your interest going again. So the Granito by Hohi Locatelli, and I'm very much enjoying it and looking forward to finishing it. And I will. I'll keep on going with this. My other big project that's ongoing, I'm getting to an exciting point on this one, is the Bruntsfield Vest by Isolde Teague. This is going to be my Rhinebeck vest this year. So it's a 100% colorwork vest in the round, of course. And again, I'm using Knit Picks palette for this. I have a lot of this in my stash, and just the colors I chose really worked well together, and I just wanted I'm just doing it with that. So this is how far it is right now. So this is the bottom, and this is going up. I'm very, very happy. Yeah, totally, very, very happy with the way that it's the way it is turning out. Now, I'll have to show you this, and I'm not giving anything away in the pattern. She does a really great job. It's, there are charts with it, and I've colored in the charts so I know what color I'm using. It's a 24 stitch repeat on each row with different colors, but it's a 24 stitch repeat, so it's really easy to follow. You don't have to follow a long line of charts. You really are just following a small one with the 24 stitches, which really makes it pretty. It's color work. I know Sophia's always like, you say it's easy, but because there's such a small repeat, it's really not too bad. However, what we're doing, I have one more row to go, and then I will begin to add in the steeking stitches. So this project is my first steeking project. So I have to add stitches, extra stitches in here, because I will cut and make, it'll be a V-neck sweater. So these stitches will be cut, the steek, and then we'll put a collar around the edges. And then the armholes are also going to be steeked, so I need to add in the extra stitches here underneath the armholes, and we'll be knitting those up as well, and those will be steeked. So I am at the point where I have one more row, and then I'm going to begin doing increases and decreases, putting the steeking stitches in. So I really have to be careful about my count and continuing the colorwork pattern all the way around. So what I did, because I know myself, I'll just get caught somewhere. So I sat down one day, and this probably took me an hour and a half to do after kind of figuring out all the math. But I had to make a list of each line so that I know that on row 1 I'm doing one increase in the neck on each side of the neck, and then one increase in the one decrease at the neck point and a decrease for each arm as well. So I know, because things, you start to get to a point where you're doing one thing for the neck and you're doing something different for the arms. And I really needed to have it all set out for me and make sure that my numbers backed into the pattern numbers. When you get to this point, you should have this many stitches for your size. And I really wanted to make sure that that all worked, and it did. So fingers crossed, I'm going to begin this part of the process. So that will be interesting, but I'm really excited for it. I really love the way this is turning out. It's a great learning experience. I don't have to worry about any arms on this, so I'm not worried about having to add arms and making sure that those color repeats match up with the repeats, the patterning in the main body. So I thought this would be a really good place to start as far as steeking is concerned. So I'm very happy with it so far. I'm looking forward to it. Having it as a Rhinebeck sweater is a great goal, because it's going to make me get it done. Somebody had posted up, someone had posted up on Instagram, 63 days to go until Rhinebeck, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get going. Because, and this was probably 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I really need to concentrate on this. This is almost ready to go. So this actually is already up to this point here, so I really don't have much left to go at all. Really less than, most of the knitting has been down here, so I have less than half the sweater to go. This is just the more complicated part of it. So I think, if I'm going to try to do a couple of rows at a time, I don't know if I'll do it every day, but we'll get them. I'll get there. We'll get it done. It will be done for Rhinebeck. I'm really looking forward to having it done and excited about it. So because of this, I won't have 2 Rhinebeck sweaters. I'm just going to have one Rhinebeck sweater. I know some people are like, I finished my first one, I'm on to my second. That's not going to happen here. Just this one will be the one that I'm gonna wear. But it's great because it's a vest. I really like the vest look, and I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of this. So I'm pretty excited about this as it keeps on going. Another project that I am working on is the Knit Night Shawl by Louise S. Bangham. Sorry about that. And this is using the glorious yarn that I purchased from Meadow at Sinew and Stone. Yeah, I'm going to go back for more of this at some point in time. But this is this beautiful, lovely green and brown and dark. It just looks like moss on heather or lichen on rocks. It's really beautiful. Meadow is based, she's an American, but she's based in Iceland right now. So this is yarn from Iceland, which is really great. And this is called the Knit Night Shawl because it basically, you have on each of the edges, you're adding in, you're doing some picot bind off here. And the rows just get longer and longer, so you really can go as long as you want. And then you'll finish it. And it's great for something like a knit night because you don't really have to think about what you're doing. It's just knitting. It's knitting on both sides, and you're just doing the picot bind off at the beginning of one row. It's really very very simple, but really great. And so this is going to be a long, skinny shawlette. I suppose I could say. Well, this is the kind of thing that I will use. I will wear it as a cowl. I will wrap it around a couple of times around my neck over probably like over a black turtleneck, And this will be a beautiful accent piece. I'm looking forward to it. The yarn is glorious, and this is just great for me to pick up if I'm not ready to do something, something too complicated, or there's an exciting Red Sox game on. I can pick this up and not be too concerned. And it's one of those projects that all of a sudden I'll be done, because you just keep knitting on it, and it will be done. So I'm very excited about that. And then the last thing that I have today to show as a work in progress is I'm starting another pair of Roz's socks. I've made several pairs of these. This is a pattern by Grumperina, and it's actually a brioche rib pattern on a sock. And I first knit these. This comes from an Interweave Knits magazine, and I want to say, I'd have to look it up, but I want to say it's like someplace 2009, something like that. I mean, it's an old issue of Interweave Knits, and this is the one pattern that I really love. And it's just an easy way to try brioche. And when I did these the first time, I really did not even think about the fact that it was brioche. Brioche is not a difficult pattern. I mean, it's kind of the in thing right now, is there are all these new brioche patterns. It's not difficult at all, and I think there's kind of this, there's a myth out there that brioche is some kind of mysterious stitch, and it really isn't mysterious. You're just basically doing a yarn over with a purl, and once you've done it a couple of times, it's really not it's not too crazy. Where the craziness comes in, or the interest, or the more difficult part comes in if you're doing 2-color brioche, and then you need managing 2 different colors. That's a different level. But just plain brioche, 1-color brioche, is really not hard, and it creates this great squishy fabric. It's really nice. So if you have any concerns, or you're thinking about it, but I don't know if I want to jump into brioche, go for it and just do a 1-color. Find a pattern that has 1-color brioche. It's really easy. Once you do it, it's not difficult at all. But these socks are great because they create this beautiful rib of brioche, and you don't even know that you're really doing it. So I just started this again. I have a long commute. If you're new to the podcast, I work in Boston, and I probably have about an hour and a half between a bus and the T. So I usually do knitting when I first get on the bus. So I get a lot of socks are great because they're just a small project. But this is how the sock looks. So this is the rib. This is the brioche rib. So this is the brioche part of it in here, and this particular one has a 3 stitches of knitting, and then 3 stitches of the brioche purl rib. So it comes out, it makes this beautiful, it's just a beautiful, really interesting rib where you're seeing more of the purl bumps in there. It's just really interesting, and because it's a rib, it's going to make the sock nice and snug and beautiful. So again, Roz's Socks by Grumperina, and I really do recommend this pattern. It's a great way to try some brioche in a larger rib pattern. I do these socks are written cuff down, and I do all my socks toe up, so I do it toe up, and I'm just doing the patterning on the top of the foot, and then I will do it on the leg as well, and then just do a cuff at the end. So I'm very excited about that. Now the yarn that I am using is by my friend Kayleen. Little Bean loves yarns. Little Bean loves crochet on Instagram, and I'll put her information up here. Kayleen lives in Marblehead, and she is an independent indie dyer, and she does beautiful work. You see these beautiful colors. I love this colorway. I just love it. I love the cream. I love the pops of blue and the green, and it's beautiful. I really love it. When I saw this online, I knew I had to get this, and this is absolutely lovely. I may have to purchase another skein of this because I just love it so much. These are actually the start of a pair of socks for my I didn't even look it up. I forget what it's called, but I'll put it down here. But the Pause for Stitches podcast, Candy, and Lucky Jenny Knits podcast. Jenny, they're having a knit along right now where we're pen pals. So it's a pen pal cal, I think. So we've been partnered up with a pen pal, a partner, and so we're each communicating. Right now, Julia, who's my partner, and I are mostly communicating through Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, through through Ravelry instant messages. It's just easy that way. But we are starting to participate. I forget, there are 3 or 4 challenges during the knit along. It goes from now until December, so it's a nice long one. But one of them is this first one is to knit a pair of socks, and you get extra points if you knit a pair of socks for your partner. So that's what we've decided to do. So I am knitting this pair of socks for my partner. So I'm really happy. I'm happy that she's going to get this yarn. It's really beautiful. I love it. Kayleen, you're the best. So I'm really excited about that as well, and you'll see more of that as I get them finished. So that's really my main projects that I'm working on right now. There are more to come eventually. But anyway, let's talk about the knit along next. The knit along. In our Ravelry group, the Knitting by the Sea podcast group, we are having a knit along right now, and it's running from now until the end of September. And as most of you know, or if you're new to the podcast, my daughter Sophia originally started this podcast when she was in Japan during her junior year. She's a Japanese major who graduated last year from the University of Vermont. And she has spent the last year after graduation in Japan working as an assistant language teacher through the JET program through the Japanese government, and she's had a great time. But now she's moved back to the United States, so she's here living with us, and she's beginning her process of looking for work here. And she actually didn't do a lot of knitting while she was in Japan. She did it, here and there, but she didn't have anybody to knit with. And Sophia's one of those people who needs to have a knitting group or someone around to knit with her. So now that she's back, she wants to get back into knitting, and she has lots of multiple projects that she kind of brought with her and didn't finish. So she's beginning to work on those. So we thought we would have a knit along to kind of help get her back knitting again. So that's the name of the knit along. It's Let's Get Sophia Knitting Again, Cal. So we are all working on that. In that, come on over and join us anytime. Really, the prizes are going to be drawn. There's just a chatter thread for this one. We're not looking for any finished objects. This is really just a, give Sophia some support and know that there are other people out there knitting along with her and encouraging her to get back into it, which she is. And she's actually, I have been working, as I said, I worked on the Hepzibah shawl for that, so you can see some progress pictures over there on that project for me. Sophia has some socks that she's continuing to work on, but she also purchased, Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears just published a brand new shawl pattern called the Longbourn Shawl, which is inspired by Pride and Prejudice, and it is beautiful. It's so beautiful. It has all these little butterfly stitch accents. It has some lace, and I think there's some cabling in it. I forget. I haven't seen it in a while. But Sophia is, we went down to our local yarn shop here in Marblehead Knits, and we purchased some more. She looked all around and came right back to Kayleen's yarn because they carry a Little Bean Crochet yarn there, and she went right back to it. She bought 2 skeins of it, and that's what she's using for her shawl. So there's some pictures over again in the Ravelry group. But I wanted to show you today because we will have prizes. Right now we have 3 prizes, which I'm very excited about each one of these. The first is Janine. I was actually a test knitter for her Yexa shawl, and that was this. You've seen this before. I finished this a couple of times ago. Unbelievably gorgeous pattern. And this is actually Janine's yarn. She has an online yarn shop as well, and I'll put the information on here. But it is just such a lovely, it's just a triangular shawl. And it is beautiful. This was knit in 2 colors, but you could certainly knit it in 1, or you could knit it in more than 2. But it has some beautiful lace sections and some really interesting texture sections and some lace and texture and some striping, etc. So it's just really beautiful. And Janine has given a copy of this pattern to the podcast to give away for that. So if you haven't knit this pattern yet, take a look at it and come join us over there. As I said, whips are okay, chatter's okay. We're just going to pull from the chatter thread when we get done at the end of September, and you'll have a chance to win this beautiful pattern, which is highly recommended. It's really beautiful. The second prize is from Sophia and myself. I went online, as I said, because Kayleen, she sells in the local our local shop, but she also has an online shop on Etsy. So I also sometimes get some stuff from her there. And I purchased a skein of the Loveliness for the one of the winners of the knit along. And so this is this gorgeous skein here. You can see a little being crocheted. This skein is Sparkle Sock. It's 438 yards, and it is merino and nylon and some stellina. There's a little bit, I'm not sure if it shows up, but there's a little bit of sparkle in there. It's really, really nice. And this colorway is called Courage, and I love it. It's just got all these pops of orange and yellow and some deeper reds, and this is nice. This would make a beautiful shawl or an accent color to a two-color shawl or a great pair of socks. Really, really beautiful. So some lucky person is going to win this skein of yarn from Kayleen and get to experience this yarn for yourself. When you'll fall in love with it. It's just so beautiful. And then, very, very generously, Sophie and I were both touched. Gil, who is has the shop Birdie and Poppet. She's on Instagram, and Gil Page. She's from Nottingham in the United Kingdom, so in England, and she makes these gorgeous project bags. And she actually has been highlighted on the Bakery Bears podcast as well. So you'll hear about her over there as well. They did an article on her in one of their newsletters for Patreons. So she's fantastic. She does beautiful work, and she sent Sophie and I a gift which I was able to pick up today. I'll show you in just a second, but this is her card. So Birdie and Poppet, it's so cute. But again, she makes beautiful bags, and she has a special one for someone for this knit along. So I haven't seen a picture of it, but when we do whoever wins this bag, I'll just get in touch with her, and she'll send it to you directly. So it'll be a surprise to everyone. So it's very exciting. But I'll give you a sample of the types of bags that she does. She's so lovely. She found this fabric, and it's of a seaside town, and it's an old seaside town. She thought it would be perfect, and it really is. This is so lovely, and it has little ropes inside, but the fabric is quilted. It's beautiful. It's a drawstring bag. So Gil, this is gorgeous. We are so grateful. Thank you so much. And I'm going to pop in one of my projects right into this when I get done with the podcast today. It is absolutely gorgeous. So one other lucky prize winner from the knit along will get one of her great bags as well. So we're really excited about that. So come on along and join us. As I said, it's really, it's just a chatter thread. It's just to kind of talk and enjoy each other and give ourselves an encouragement for our particular projects. As I said, we'll go through the end of September on that one, and I look forward to talking with you over there. Let's have a little bit of chatter and kind of catch you up on what's been going on. I do have a plethora of lovelies. I've shown you some lovely things already, and I have more lovely things to show you as well. Sophia and I went last weekend to Fiber Revival, which is just in Newbury. It's just a few towns up from here, and it's a very small fiber festival. It's very, very manageable. It's lovely. It's held at an old farmhouse, and they have animals there, and they have house tours, and there's a big barn where they have some classes, and then there are vendors there as well. So many people will bring their spinning wheels to Fiber Revival, and they have tents set up so you can sit down and just everybody kind of gets together in groups, and people are spinning, people are knitting. Sophia and I just brought our chairs, and we did some lovely knitting this time, and it was just a wonderful day. It was wonderful last year. The knitting group that I go to occasionally can get to. Most of them were there last year, but they didn't. A lot of them. One of them showed up this year, but not many of them couldn't make it. So we didn't really know anybody there this year. Although I was able to meet up with a couple of people. So that was really quite fun. Leslie Wind was there with the who made the shawl pin that I gave away the last time, and she was there, so she got to meet Sophia, so we got to chat some more. We did meet a few other people, which was really a lot of fun. But she and I just spent most of the day just kind of sitting and knitting and chatting together under a tree, and then taking a look at the vendors, which is always fun. So there were 2 vendors that I purchased from this year, and I think they're the same 2 vendors that I purchased from last year, which is great. Bags by Jessalou, Stitched by Jessalou bags were, she was there, and I just decided I needed to have a bag. So this is the bag that I chose. Isn't that cute? All the sheep. I love it. So it's just perfect. This is what I have my Knit Night shawl in, and it has this beautiful blue pattern on the inside. I'm very happy with this. It's a really nice, it's like a little wedge bag. It's just the perfect size for a pair of socks, or in this case for my little fingering weight shawlette, which is really nice. So I'm very pleased with this. This is so much fun to just go ahead and buy something for yourself every now and again. So I really loved this. The second thing that I purchased, again, Spunky Eclectic, she's one of my favorite fiber dyers. I was a member of her monthly club for a long time, and the only reason I stopped doing that is because I got too far behind, because you get some fiber, 4 ounces of fiber every month, and I couldn't keep up at that time. I'm sure at some point I will go back to that, because I really love her color and I love her aesthetic for naming, and she's just a great person. I think the name Spunky Eclectic really captures her personality. So she was there. She was there last year, and I got something from her, and she was there again this year, and of course I had to purchase some. And look at this gorgeousness. Spunky Eclectic. It's called Solar Flare. It is, this is 2 ounces of comb top merino and yak. And can you just look at this? I wish you could feel this. I've never spun or knit with yak, so I'm really looking forward to this. This is incredibly soft. And the colors, look at those colors. Does this shout fall to you? It certainly shouts it to me. I can't wait to dig into this when I finish up some of the other projects I'll show you here. But this is gorgeous. I got 2 grades of it, so I had 4 ounces. So, this is gorgeous. I don't know what I'll make with this. I may just spin it and just look at it and place it on the shelf. But it's so, oh my gosh, it's so soft. I can't wait to grab into it. So again, Spunky Eclectic. She is awesome. You can find her. Online. She is just great. So, but it's so nice to have her vend at this little get together. It was really, it's just such a nice feeling. It's just one of those a nice. Remember we talked a lot Tiny Paper Foxes, and they had a lot of a discussion about community last year, and this was just really. It's a really nice outing to go to, because you're not overwhelmed by the number of people there. You're not overwhelmed by the number of vendors. It's really comfortable. You could go by yourself and just sit under the tree and knit, and someone would talk to you. I mean, it's just a lovely, lovely day. I'm very, very pleased. This is the second time I've gone, and we'll definitely go again if we're able to next year. I just love it, and I love it. So we had a great time. We had a great time doing that. I also got in the mail a little while ago, and I haven't shown it yet, and I want to. Maybe last month, a month before, I also made a purchase from Moonstone Dye Works, Tommy, and this is this gorgeousness. Look at that. This is a superwash merino, and it has nylon and stellina, so it's a little bit sparkly as well. It's beautiful, but look at those beautiful colors. I love them. I think those are unbelievable. Tommy has the Squirrel Pie Productions podcast, and you should go and check her out, because she is just really, she's very groovy. She's funny. She does sewing, and she does knitting as well. She loves brioche, so she's a brioche girl. But she's also doing dyeing now, and she lives out in Northern California. So I thought I would treat myself to a skein of this as well. What I'm going to make from this is called the Gum Blossom Shawl by Meg Gatsby, one of my favorite designers. But this is a picture of it. Shine. It's a Gum Blossom Shawl. So it just takes 1 skein, and it's just going to be beautiful, a very light, beautiful wrap. Again, wrap around my neck as an accent piece, I think. So I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. So I wanted to show you that. And again, she's Moonstone Dye Works. Take a look. She updates pretty regularly now. She just started her company. So, but getting on the ground floor, she's got some beautiful yarns over there. So looking forward to this. Now my other big project that will be upcoming is I'm going to be doing the Hansel. It's actually the Hansel is a full hap, so that's a Shetland hap, but I'm going to do the half. So I'm going to do a triangular one, and this is a picture of it there. You can look it up. It's by Gundren Johnson. It's the Hansel, and it is it's just beautiful. So it's a traditional design, traditional Scottish hat design. So it has one main color, and then there's going to be there's like a scalloped edge which has different accent colors in it. So it's going to be really, really pretty. My goal on this particular project was really to spin for this, which I have been doing, but I'm also going to add some additional yarn to it as well. I have gotten some beautiful fiber from Carol at Foster Sheep Farm, and it's just gorgeous. So this is going to be my main color. I finished this. I have 2 skeins of this. This is going to be my main color for it. And then I have accent colors. So this is going to be my first, a little bit of an accent color. I'm not going to use much of these skeins. I'm going to have a lot of these left over to do other things with. But so this is going to be one accent color. This actually is Shetland wool that I purchased during the Knit Local getaway from Battenkill Fiber Mill. So this was very special. It was just a one-time run for her, and she saved some for us for the Knit Local getaway goers. So this was very special. So we had to do this. So this will be a very nice, another accent color. These will be very muted. Some haps you'll see are really very, very colorful. Mine are going to kind of be all in the same kind of. So you can see they're just kind of this muted, kind of a brown study really. And then I also purchased from New Leaf Yarns, and she is based in in England, in the UK, and I actually heard about her on the Knit British podcast. Thank you, Louise, for your enabling. But on the Knit British podcast, she did a very long interview with the owner of New Leaf Yarns, and it was just so interesting, and it was just her enthusiasm for what she's doing is great. So she does all alpaca yarns. So her card says, alpaca fleece has been kindly provided by alpacas from small herds. And you can find out more about this particular yarn on her website. She has a website that you can go to, and I'll put the link on here as well. What she's done with this little skein is mixed 3 different colors. So we have this kind of brown, the lighter brown, and then the dark brown. I think this is great. So this is going to be another accent color on there, and that will be kind of cool because it will kind of ripple through some of the different colors in here. So this will be my other one. And then my last one that I'm going to be using is just in the process. I just started spinning this. So this again, this is also this is Romney and Wensleydale from Carol at Foster Sheep Farm. You can see this. But I thought I would pop in a little bit of color. So it's not quite as bright. It's a little bit more muted than it's showing up on the screen. But I thought this would be a really nice little accent kind of color. Oops, if I can grab them all in with all of this. So this will be my Hansel. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really, I'm kind of proud of the fact that I've been able to spin quite a bit of it. And I'm going to be spinning this piece. So 3 of the yarns that are going to be in it, I'll have spun myself. So that's very, very special. And they're going to be from, they're yarns from Carol. So I know where they're coming from. So that's very special. That's very, very special to me as well. So I'm really excited about that. And the nice thing about the reason I actually was thinking about it is because Sophia and I, because as I said, I stolen a couple of days off from work this week. Work is, it's right before, next week, a little bit is coming soon is Labor Day, and that's when all the colleges really come back into session. So it gets really very, very busy for us because people have to come and see us if there is something wrong with the billing. It's a really crazy time. So I thought I would grab a couple of days right before that starts up just to get a little breather. So that's what I did today and tomorrow as well. Today, Sophia and I are spending the afternoon at the beach. When I'm done with this, we're going to go to the beach this afternoon, which I rarely go to the beach. I live on the ocean. I don't know why not a big beach goer, but that's what we're going to do this afternoon. We're going to take a little picnic lunch and go sit on the beach and do some knitting and reading and just relax. The weather's temperatures, it's only in the 70s today, so that'll be really comfortable and really nice. There's no humidity. It'll be very, very nice. But tomorrow we're going to be driving out to Saratoga to visit with my family for a little bit. So Sophia and I are having another girls. So we're just going to go for overnight. We have something to do on Saturday morning there, so we thought we'd go on Friday. So tomorrow afternoon we're going to go over to Carol's shop. So we're going to go to the Foster Sheep Farm tomorrow afternoon and meet up with Carol. She has a beautiful shop in the little house. It's really lovely. She has gorgeous yarns. So I'm actually thinking, I didn't bring it up with me today, but I just finished spinning up some fiber that I got at Christmas, and it's this beautiful, it's not really a gradient, but it kind of is. It's got reds and pinks and there's some really dark, almost deep dark burgundy in it, and it kind of runs along. So anyway, so what I'm thinking of doing, I keep seeing everybody's making making not colorwork sweaters, but kind of Nordic sweaters. So they're going to have, the yoke has some type of patterning in here. My sister-in-law Tracy just finished an unbelievably gorgeous Swedish sweater. I have no words. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. She'll be wearing it at Rhinebeck, so you'll see pictures there. But it's just unbelievably beautiful. But she and Patricia from Knitography, they're just very enabling, and I keep looking at all these beautiful sweaters, and they're actually really good to knit because, again, they're knit in DK or worsted weight yarn, so they go pretty quickly. So I'm itching to do that as well. So I thought I have that yarn that I just finished downstairs, and I'm thinking that I'm going to, I think I have a pattern that I'm thinking of already, but it's not a traditional Nordic sweater. It's more like it's just kind of a different design, so you wouldn't use more than one color in it. But I'm thinking of getting maybe some beautiful like oatmeal color or some lighter gray color, because this is like really pops in the reds and pinks and the burgundy kind of thing. So I think that would be it would really pop with the color on the top. And I think probably I think you can do some on the cuffs as well. And I think on this particular pattern that I'm thinking of, it has some of that color down on the bottom. So I think that would be really nice. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I need to make sure I look it up how much I need, but I'm going to be kind of looking for that from Carol tomorrow. I'll see what she has. And Sophia's coming along. Sophia has never been to Foster Sheep Farm, so that'll be really great. She's looking forward to it. She's like, I don't think I've ever been. I don't think I've met Carol. I'm like, I don't think you have, because I don't think when she came to Rhinebeck, I don't think we might have kind of seen her in passing. But Rhinebeck is really tough. It's just so busy for Carol there because she's vending and she's showing, and so it's kind of crazy. So Sophia's never been over there, so we're going to take a little drive. It's just over in the next town, over in Schuylerville. It's really not very far from Saratoga, so we'll be doing that. We're going to get out of Dodge because on Saturday is the Travers in Saratoga, and that's the biggest thoroughbred horse race of the year in Saratoga. So it's the fourth jewel of the Triple Crown. That's what people call it. So there's just Saratoga is a town. There's normally 25 to 30,000 people or so that live there. This particular weekend, there will be 50 to 60,000 people in town. So we're going to skirt downtown. We're not going to go near downtown, but we're going to get out of Dodge and go drive over to Schuylerville and go do some yarn shopping. So we're really looking forward. To that. Sophia's had two friends come down. Sarah and Linda came down to visit us from Burlington. They're two of her friends from college, and they're knitting buddies, so that's really great too. Sarah's going to be joining us when we go to Rhinebeck, so you'll get to meet her on our Rhinebeck travels. And it was great. They did some knitting, they did some shopping at Marblehead Knits, they just hung out at Crocker Park, which is next to us. They went to the beach one day. Linda and Sarah made us this unbelievably delicious zucchini lasagna. It was just, I've had it before and I dream about it, and it was wonderful to have it again. So that was really lovely that they were able to come. We had a little bit of a bumble there when my husband has some ongoing intestinal issues, too much information, but he's had several operations, so he's had his intestines operated on before, and when that happens, sometimes you are prone to having blockages, and he had a severe one several years ago, which didn't require surgery, but it required a hospitalization, and it just happens. There's really nothing that he can do or don't do. It's usually scar tissue that kind of builds up, and sometimes it will build up and then it'll kind of snap and will be fine. Everything will start moving again, but he's had an issue over the last couple of weeks where he's kind of had a partial of that. So we ended up, he saw his doctor and got some instructions from him, but really, if you have a situation like that, there really is nothing else to do if it becomes acute than to actually go to the emergency room, because then they can hydrate you intravenously and really just kind of almost like flush it to see if it will open up. So actually last Sunday, that's actually what we ended up having to do. We had to go to the emergency room, so we were there for a few hours with that. But all is well. He was not actually admitted. They did hydrate him quite a bit. And then sent him home with some different medication, and because it was only partial, he had had a CAT scan the day before, so they knew exactly what it was. But because it was not a full blockage, that was good. And so he's been steadily feeling better as the week has gone by. Now, if you also remember that was in July, last month, we had tickets to go to the Red Sox. So it was Mark, myself, and my brother-in-law, Paul, and we had great seats. And we were going to go to the Red Sox, and it got totally rained out. Totally rained out. It was just like deluge. But so when that happens, they usually will reschedule a game. So they did, and they rescheduled it. But of course, they rescheduled it for last Friday. My poor husband was just not. He's like, I really should not go to the Red Sox. So it's so sad. So he gave his ticket to Sophia. So Sophia's like, I'll go. So we went. Great seats again. We had tremendous seats. We almost got hit by a ball. It was just, if you love them or you hate them, but Fenway Park is just a great park to watch baseball in, and the Red Sox are doing so well this year. And I forget, I've always, obviously Mark grew up with the Red Sox. When I was a kid, we were never Yankees fans really in my family, but we were Mets fans, so we used to watch the Mets games. But, I could take or leave baseball. But when you're in a baseball town, the game is on every single night. It's some incredible, 84 games in a season. So they're playing literally every night, either in the afternoon or in the evening. So really, you come home and you have dinner and you're like, are the Red Sox on? Who are they playing? Who are they playing? And especially when your team is good, and the Red Sox are good this year, so they're winning, so they're way out and ahead, and so that makes it even more exciting. So we watch a lot of Red Sox baseball, and once you start watching it, it gets really interesting. You know the players, and so it was really, really fun to go to the game. But of course, my poor husband and he watched us on TV, and the camera showed us at some point in time, so he was like, "Oh my God, I see you guys! I can't believe that I'm not there." That was so much. It was just a lot of fun. We had somebody on Instagram, somebody who follows us on Instagram. She's like, I think I just saw you on television. We're like, oh my gosh! But it was so much fun, and my brother-in-law felt so bad for him that he actually bought him tickets again. He and my husband Mark and his brother Paul, they're actually going to go to the Red Sox tomorrow night when Sophie and I have gone off to Saratoga. So I feel better for him. So he's going to still get to see a game this season. So that will be really, really, really fun. So yeah, I think that's pretty much where we are right now. As I said, Sophie is getting back into knitting. We're very excited about that. It's almost fall. The leaves are just starting to change a little bit, just a little bit. So we're going to get into some beautiful, beautiful weather now. I think this coming week is going to be all the 70s, which is nice. We had some really hot days this past week. Oh, and we had the eclipse. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh, we had the eclipse here. Now here in the northeastern part of the United States, we only saw a partial eclipse, but it was in the middle of the day. It was like 1:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon. I didn't really expect to see it. They have special glasses that you could look through, but they were like sold out everywhere, and libraries had them, but they were all, they were gone. So everybody at work was like, well, we probably won't really see much, because you couldn't see it if you were outside with the partial. You wouldn't really have noticed much of it at all. But we kind of were walking outside right around that time, and some people actually had made their own viewers, and the library at Wentworth had a bunch of these glasses that you could look through. So he was the librarian that was there was handing them out, like, you wanted to see. And I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely. And it's literally it was completely opaque, this material that you had to look through, and you're like, you can look up at the sun, you can't see you just see the sun, you're like, I'm not going to see anything, and you put this over your eyes, and all of a sudden you could see that the sun was a crescent and that the moon was right there. It was unbelievable. I'm so happy that we happened to walk outside at that time, because I really had no expectations of being able to see it, and we did. It was really, it was exciting. We're like, oh, we need to have more of these meteorological activities going on. It was really very, very exciting, and we didn't even have the full the full effect here in the Northeast. It was more of a swath across the middle of the country where it showed full. But yeah, that was a fun experience, to have. Yeah, and otherwise, I think that's about it on the knitting front. Come say hello over on the Ravelry group and join. You can hit the subscribe button below, and you'll be notified when the next time we put up a podcast. Sophia will probably join me the next time. She just wasn't able to today. She's got some things going on, but she will be back to talk about her knitting projects as well. So come say hello. As I said, I'm Saratoga Knitting on Instagram and on Ravelry, and I love to hear from everyone. It's just so exciting to be part of this wonderful community that is the knitting and crochet and crafting community out there. And remember, it's just knitting. Bye.